Welcome to the Rob and Savage podcast for this special Father's Day edition. I got my main man here, man, the Chop God, Bleak.
Yo,
What's good, fam?
man, not much, man. Had to pull up on you one time for the one time.
What's there? We got the little ones out.
Yeah, man, I keep them with me.
Oh, yeah.
Father's Day right the corner.
Father's Day 365. 365. Hey, bro, look, we've been knowing each other for a long time, man. We're going to dive right into this, man. Tell everybody who is Chop God.
The barber so sweet.
Yeah, like my daughter just said, Chop God is someone, a barber. I'm from Barber, Tennessee.
Cut here, barber.
You gonna tell them for me? You gonna tell them or you want me to tell them?
Both.
Both? All right, let me go first, all right?
Okay.
All right. Yeah, I went to TSU, Tennessee State University from Murfreesboro, Tennessee. I've been cutting hair in Nashville probably for about the last 15 years, since probably about like 2011. I went to Barber College in Antioch.
The Yacht.
Yeah, the Yacht, Bell Road, you know what I'm saying? Been cutting out north and out west for like the past 10, 15 years. And Chop God was a name that was actually given to me just from the hard work I was putting in on TSU's campus in Nashville area. And, you know, out the blue, people just started calling me Chop God. And at first, it's a crazy story, because at first I was like, man, quit calling me that. And they was like, Chop God. I'm like, man, quit calling me that. And then, you know what I'm saying, what made me like it was, you know, I got on campus and I was like, Chop God, Chop God.
Right.
Like, okay, yeah.
He found his niche.
Yeah.
That's real, man. So how was that journey, man? Finding out that, all right, cool, I'm going to cut hair. I'm good at it. I'm killing the game at TSU. What was that whole transition like, man? Because I know you come from a storied high school here in Tennessee. Was it Riverdale or Oakland? My bad.
Nah, you know, Riverdale out here. Well, you know, I grew up playing football from the age of 6 all the way up until, you know, I graduated high school. But I actually started cutting hair probably about like in the 7th grade. Before then, I was actually cutting my own hair and giving myself edge ups probably like when I was like 5th, 6th grade. My pops grew up cutting my hair, and then by the time I was in the 5th, 6th grade, I started growing my hair out, and I started giving myself edge ups. And then in the middle school locker room, I started bringing the edge up clippers in there, giving people edge ups. And, you know, fast forward into high school, by the time I was in the 10th, 11th grade, you know, I was making appointments, cutting people hair in the locker room, my mama's front porch. Like, that was the spot. Everybody come over to my mama's house, you know, playing basketball. And, you know, I'd be out there on the front porch cutting people hair, you know, and it turned into like a real deal hustle. I mean, I was always, you know, trying to find ways to make money, and I was good at it naturally. And so by the time I was a senior, you know, I had some scholarship offers for football, like Tennessee Tech. I was looking at me, TSU, you know what I'm saying, a few other places, but it was just like the Barber route just chose me. So a barber school had just opened up, and they was actually giving away free scholarships to go to it.
Okay.
All I needed was like a $500 deposit. And so I enrolled in Barber College, and from there it took off. I cut hair in Antioch for about 3 years. And I was like, man, the school thing wasn't really for me. But I still like had this niche that I wanted to play football still.
Yeah.
And at the time I was only like 19. I was like 19 years old.
Okay.
And I was like, man, if I go to college, I can cut hair at TSU. I was doing music at the time too. I could do music, you know, TSU, big culture, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people from different big cities. And, you know,
you was up on the pliers, right?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I used to mess with that pliers, but so I was cutting hair, training for football, doing music, and, you know, school. So I enrolled at TSU. And from there, you know, I was going to walk on to the football team, but the cutting hair the clients just started coming so fast
Yeah.
that it was like, man, I seen how the football players was living. And I'm like, man, these dudes ain't got time to do nothing. I'm talking about they ain't got time to,
Man,
they barely got time to take showers. You know what I'm saying?
All that was the problem.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, shoot, because like I came to TSU, couldn't hear before I even enrolled. And so I'm already like peeping the structure and seeing what's going on. I'm like, okay, man, I can really get some money out here. You know, my homeboy, casual investor, he influenced me to go to TSU. And I was like, okay, bet. So I went out there. The clients started picking up so tough. And then I was just, getting mentored by a lot of older people. And I was selling them like the type of money I was making.
Right.
And they were like, man, just be honest with you. They was like, you good at football. You can make it far. But the type of money you're making right now, they was like, man, you need to just go ahead and stick to the barber.
Right. Okay, so you got up to TSU. You still wanted to live the football dream, but you started making money for yourself in something that you already was liking. So navigating through that, you had to change your whole focus of what you really want to do. What made you say, you know what, I'm gonna leverage this and get my own shop? How did that come along for you?
Man, entrepreneurship was something that I was really molded into.
Okay.
And it ain't like one of them type of stories to where, I joined a family business and like that.
Mm-hmm.
It was more so like, I seen my pops and my mama like still to this day, working the factory job, But in the midst of all that, my father always put the extra effort forward, showing me ways to become an entrepreneur.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? From owning your own business to providing goods and services, finding the demand and meeting it. And so by the time I got done, when I graduated from TSU with a degree in psychology and business. And after that, I was just so tired of juggling school and, entrepreneurship. I was like, man, let me just go full-fledged on with this entrepreneurship. Okay. And, everybody around me was like, it was like they saw it before me.
Okay.
Because at the time, I'm going to be honest with you. Like, with me, like, I was so talented in so many different things that I never really considered myself a barber.
Okay.
And it's crazy because, you like, damn, you've been cutting hair since you look 7th, 8th grade. How do you not consider yourself a barber?
Right.
It's because it was just one of the things I was hustling.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So by the time I graduated, I was like, man, let me do it. And everybody come on saying, man, when you go open up your own shop? When you go open up your own shop? And, my pops was in my ear too. And I'm like, you know what? Let me go ahead and look into this more.
Right.
And so I went ahead and, did it. And, what made me, just also touching on like the Father's Day aspect, what made me actually just jump out there head first and get a brick and mortar building and not just think about it. My daughter Noria, she was on the way.
Okay.
So I think that was like
That's motivation.
Yeah, 2018. I realized I found out I had a daughter coming.
Okay.
And I was like, man, I'm cutting hair, I'm doing this other stuff, but I need some stability.
Right.
And I'm like, you know what? It's time to go ahead and rise to the occasion. So as soon as I found out that she was on the way, the shop was on the way.
Man, that's beautiful, man. So basically, and children do that to you, man. Like, to keep on saying on that same subject, even with myself, when I got the news that I had a child on the way before I even knew it was a boy, my whole life just spent like, as you know me, my whole life at that time, we actually after that was still focused on football and what else I want to do in life. And when I got the news about I got a child on the way, I had to cut a lot of things loose. A lot of things that I was doing freely and without a purpose. I had to switch it and start focusing on, okay, you can be in daddy mode. And then, of course, when I found out I was having a son, it even more intensified. Like, okay, well, I got to lead by example and let him know, like, okay, you need to walk tall like your dad does. Especially like how my dad did for me. Well, I'm going to pivot back to this, man. So, okay, so you done got established, you got your shop. I want to scale it back a little bit. What made you go back to TSU and finish it on out and then pledge on top of that? I know you're alpha.
Yeah.
Big dog.
Shout out to the bros, A5A 1906.
Okay.
Man, it's crazy because like I had so many different like opportunities and so many also different hurdles and obstacles that came with where I got right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not one of them type of things to where I knew this was where I was gonna land. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, after high school, my homeboy, he went to TSU a year before me. And, you know, before I actually went to TSU, I actually went to college for a semester. Before I even went to Barber College.
Okay.
I went for a semester. And it wasn't for me at that moment.
Okay.
I was 18 years old, a way different type of person. You know what I'm saying? I was just like everybody else. I went to college, barely stayed in class, got the refund check, and I was out of there. You know what I'm saying? My homeboy would knock on the window. And while in the middle of class, he'd knock on the window. I'd see him, he'd be like this.
Yeah,
and I'm out. I'm
yeah.
out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so with the barber school, and I was like, man, you know what? I was like, I completed this. I done challenged myself. This is going to be something that I can always fall back on, regardless. You know what I'm saying? And I started getting in tune with the TSU culture. You know what I'm saying? That's when I met you. You one of the people who I met before I was even a student at TSU. You know what I'm saying?
Man, I tell everybody, man, I ain't know about Chief Keef until you.
For real.
I did, man. Like, at that time, that's when Chief Keef was out on Light Song, and then it was, I was already on Plies, but you kind of had me start looking into what Plies really was talking about, because I kind of looked at Plies at the time like a jokester type rapper in a sense, not knowing he really was spitting. And then we had our thing about who was better, Boots and Web.
Yeah.
So, including with the Plies. So yeah, man, that's crazy how many years ago that was, man. We weren't even looking at kids.
That's crazy though. Like, I really did use him. Plies was like one of my favorite artists though. You know, probably not for the same reason why everybody was like, Plies was somebody who like you said, like all in one, he was a comedian. You know, he was a jokester. Of course, he was standing, talking about different things that was going on in the culture. You know, the come up. Plies was always about the come up, but like, deeper involved with all of that, especially listening to his earliest music. You know, he was big on standing on principle.
Right.
And I'm the type of person who, like, regardless of whatever it is you're doing, I feel like it's a principle that you need to stand on. It's a way that you need to conduct yourself, and the people who you're around. There needs to be, like a line of loyalty. Like, and it might not be the same with every person, but if our relationship is based on this, and we doing business in this aspect, loyalty needs to lie inside of that. You know what I'm saying?
No, you got to. That's automatic.
Stay down.
It's automatic. Okay, man. So let's say this, man. What's one of the top struggles you would say you've had to encounter with owning your own shop, getting employees, and keeping everything afloat?
Well, they're not employees. They own a barbershop. When you own a barbershop, it's two different types of shops you can own. You got commission-based,
okay,
and you got, rental. And commission-based, they're your employees. You can dictate what type of clothes they wear, what time they got to be there. You're getting a percentage of everything they make.
Okay.
But when you own, a booth rent, they're independent contractors.
Okay.
And I chose that because I'm the type of person that, I want someone to be in the shop who is contributing towards the shop, but I don't want to marginalize them. I don't want to have to, I don't want to stand over somebody's shoulder and try to count how many hairs they cut, because I want you to maximize and get as much money you can get.
Right.
And so they have the barbers who work in my shop, they all have their own brands. You know what I'm saying? You got Doughboy the Barber, you got Seven King Cuts, you got J Chill the Barber, you got Humble Phase. You know what I'm saying? And those people get to push their brand along with pushing Shop Nation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, but the hardest thing, opening up my shop, I opened it up right before COVID, which was 2019. COVID hit, 2020?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, one thing about business and being an entrepreneur, and especially like a brick and mortar, a rule of thumb is if you can survive the first 2 years in business, you can make it. Regardless of whatever business you open up. Clothing, hair, food, whatever. Now, you might not have realized how to maximize it the right way.
Mm-hmm.
You might not be making the most money. You know, you might not be keeping your books the right way. You might not be marketing the right way. But at the end of the day, if your business is, thriving enough to keep you open for 2 years, it possesses something that's, profitable. And my first 2 years actually came with going against COVID.
Man, you can't do that. So that's,
and on top of that, as inclined as I am, having a business degree, studying that and other things, it's just crazy how so much stuff I had to learn outside of college. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so I went from opening up a shop, putting my own money into it. I didn't get a loan, no credit cards or nothing. This was like money that I was stacking.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So when you talk about putting thousands of dollars into a business and right when you get it opened up, you get a couple people in there and they say, hey, you got to close down. I got to close down.
Right.
But the crazy part about that is like, one good thing that came out of COVID was I got a chance to meet DMX.
That's true. That's true, man. I mean, I'm gonna pivot on that because, I know it was a scary situation for you to put all that money you had saved up into your dream, and then COVID hit and you got to shut it down. But like you said, meeting DMX, how did that change your trajectory and things?
Man, it's crazy because to this day, I'm still, cool with all the people who I met around him. You know what I'm saying? Like DMX was one of them type of people who, I feel like I've known him longer than what I did. You know what I'm saying?
I got you.
And it's just one of them type of things when you really know who you are as a person and you transparent with the people you run into, it don't take long to create a bond. And DMX was one of those people. From the time I met him, he was upfront about who he was. You could tell that he was someone who went through a lot, but he was also one of those type of people who was concerned with what you had going on. So a lot of our moments with DMX, I spent, talking about myself because he always asking me, what you got going on? We both had kids on the way at the same time. He had just had a set of twins,
okay,
and I just had Lil Bleak.
Okay.
Okay. We went to the studio together, you know what I'm saying? Cookouts, the mall. He get his hair cut every 2-3 days. And, I was really bucking the system. He was really one of the only people who I was opening up the shop for.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? My homeboy JG, shout out to JG, House of Legends. That's also my AK Sai frat brother. That's a business fraternity. Shout out Kasai. He put me on. That's one of them type of networking things. Like when you networking and you got a lot of people you tied to who doing great things out here, we always gonna pass the torch. You know what I'm saying? And so DMX had came through his spot and was looking for a barber. So JG hit me up and sent DMX to me. And from there, man, we just bonded.
No, that's a blessing, man. And shout out to JG for that too, man.
Yeah,
shout out to him, period.
Real
all the things that he's doing, especially with the House of Legends and everything else. With Bleak, man, look, man, I had you in here, man, because you one of my top friends in my life, bro. You say things like it is. You give me advice for anything, no matter what. We talk about everything from female to just life decisions, who I should network with, who I should invest with. What's something you would like to tell the audience, Bleak, that somebody who's trying to navigate their life, what they want to do, say you want to be a barber, what it is, what's the number one thing you think that, what's the number one thing you would say that they need to focus on to achieve their goal?
Man, first and foremost, you gotta put, God first.
Absolutely.
And you might call him something different, whoever it is, but you gotta put God first because there's a difference between what you got planned for yourself and what God got planned for you.
Correct.
And it might look the same. It might, some of their journey might look the same. It might, part ways at one point. But put God first, and then if you got goals, you know what I'm saying. If it's something you're trying to work towards, you really gotta evaluate yourself and be 100 with yourself. Like, are you really doing things to get close to that? You know, look at the surroundings. Look who you're around. If you say you want to, you know, be a millionaire, how you gonna be a millionaire? You know what it takes to be a millionaire? And is a millionaire even something? Like, what does, you know, Nashville, the homes in Nashville cost $500,000. So what's a millionaire?
Right.
You know, people be like 6 figures. What's 6 figures? 100,000. Everybody making 100,000 now. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
So I would say just actually understand what it is you want. You know, you want a clothing brand. How much do these clothes cost? How many units do you need to buy and turn to really make the money you want? And put yourself around those people who are like-minded, because I don't care who you are or what you look like, how you think. If you are around the wrong people, your dreams are not going to come true. Your goals are not going to go through.
Absolutely.
It ain't no difference than, you know, having an all-star basketball team. You know, yeah, you can have great players on that court, but if the coach, you know, got the wrong people in the wrong positions, you might not see greatness. You know what I'm saying? And that's just like with partnering up with somebody. You got to know your strengths and your weaknesses. And when it's time to be a leader, lead. And when it's time to fall back and have the right people around you to lead, man, you got to know how to do that.
Hey, look, y'all heard that. Y'all heard that. Well, big bro, where can the people find you at, man? What's your social media tag? Where the address to your shop? Let the people know.
Nashville Chop Guy 615. That's on Instagram. I got a Twitter. I ain't really too big on Twitter. You can also follow Chop Nation 615 on Instagram. And got a couple more platforms coming. We'll stay tuned. We double back around and link back up with the Savage himself.
Hmm.
You know. And another thing, when it comes to, you know, being an entrepreneur, one thing that Barber also did was put me in a position to network and actually understand what else is going on out here. You know, when you out here talking to people, if you truly, you know, have something you're trying to work on, have something to offer. Have something to offer to people that you bump into, and have something that you're looking for. You know what I'm saying? Just don't be out here, you know, just accepting what comes to you.
It's real.
You know, and one thing about it is being an entrepreneur, it don't start with barbering. You know what I'm saying? We working on developments right now. Real estate. Got plenty of partners who do real estate, from wholesale, fix and flip rentals to development. You know, getting those surveys done with the land. You know, getting those knowing the councilman. You know, getting the lots rezoned.
Gotta know your politicians.
Building from the ground up. You know, shout out to LNW. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Stock, when it comes to stock market, you might bump into somebody, you might not know nothing about stocks, but you see that person taking care of his kids, his family with stocks. So why would you sit beside somebody and not, you know, talk about it, not discuss it? You could put them on. If Savage here told me that he wanted to open up a barbershop, there's so much money going on out here. Why would I not tell him?
Right.
I'm gonna tell him exactly what he needs to know.
That's love.
You know what I'm saying? And that's networking. And that's just also, you know, giving out that good energy. You know what I'm saying? Putting that good energy out there, because you know it's gonna come back to you. What's meant for you is what's meant for you.
What's meant for you is what's meant for you. You hear that?